Welcome to Global Risk Community Chat. Today our guest is Garry Scobie. I am very happy to have you today here, Garry. Welcome.
Okay, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Yes, the pleasure is mine. Before we get into the topic, can you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, my name is Garry Scobie. I'm the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer for the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. And my job essentially entails all things to do with cybersecurity, across the whole piece, as it were, for the university, in order to make sure that not only the teaching of the university goes ahead in a secure manner, but also the research that we do as well.
Yeah, sounds super interesting, actually. Then let's jump into the topic and discuss about some of the things you do. So what topic would you like to share with us today?
Okay, well, this morning I would like to talk about Internet of Things, IoT, with specific reference to the home market. I'm very interested in IoT devices in the home and what they can do for people, but I'm very focused on the security implications of Internet of Things within the commercial home market.
Yeah, well, the stage is yours. Let's talk about it then. So,
okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Anything you want to share specifically about this Internet of Things or this internet-enabled devices at home?
Okay, I think, today we're being able to connect almost anything we can imagine in the home. Whether that is, obviously computers and mobiles, but also cameras, doorbells, TVs, smart speakers, fridges, kettles, slow cookers even. And, basically if we can fit a chip into it and connect it to the internet, that's what we're doing. And this is the way that society is developing, what we call smart homes. It's quite scary actually, because I'm almost at a point where I think one day I won't be able to buy something that isn't smart, that isn't internet enabled for the home. Now, as a security professional, we're used to dealing with risk. We do risk assessments. We think about things about risk, and indeed, members of the public do as well in their everyday lives. They make risk-based assessments without realising it. But my concern here is that there's a huge drive for people to put smart devices into their homes, but they're not thinking about the cyber security implications, what the risks are of actually doing that. Now, from my perspective, I could talk all day about all the different types of hacks and compromises there has been on smart devices over the last 5 years. But this kind of area is really hidden from the public, if you like. So they're very keen to get ahead and install these devices. But I don't think that the implications of what they're actually doing has been thought through. I mean, for example, we're in a quick-to-click culture at the moment. In order to get devices installed, they're typically run with mobile apps, and people just want to click OK. They don't want to read the terms and conditions, so because they are hugely complicated and very, very long. And if you don't click OK and say you've read the terms and conditions, then the app won't install and your device won't operate correctly. So people are just keen to click OK without really thinking about what it is they're doing, what they're signing up for, and what the implications are of having that device in the home. So that's really where I'm coming from this morning.
Yeah, well, actually, it's very interesting to think about as well, because like most people, I think when they think about these internet-enabled devices or the risks when it comes to them, they think of maybe, the smart assistants or phones, but it just doesn't end there. There are the smart TVs or, like fridges or cameras, a lot of different devices that we use could be affected or could be compromised on that end. So let's then get a bit more into the detail. Like what are some key things when it comes to these devices? Like what can we consider, or what kind of aspects of them we should consider when, maybe installing them or buying or anything?
Okay. I think it's interesting because I think people have to start thinking as they're making their homes smart, if you like, are we going to reach a situation where we actually have to have privacy notices for our own homes? Are people who are coming into their homes, are they being watched by cameras? Are they being filmed by doorbells? Is this data being collected and stored on cloud services and then being used for profiling people? When people if you've got teenagers in the house and their friends are coming round and they're bringing in their own smart devices and then connecting to your Wi-Fi, are those devices already compromised? These are the kind of things that, me who works in risk and cybersecurity think about all the time. And so it's something which I don't think, I'm very keen that the public understands they have to start thinking about, exactly what it is that they're doing. There's a case at the moment in the UK where a couple split up and one member stayed in the home and the other one left, but they still had access to all the codes to the smart devices that were in the home, and then could effectively cyberstalk the person who was left. And this is something we hadn't really come up before, and it's something that's new, and it's as a result of people having internet-enabled devices in the home. So it's a whole new area of risk that as a society we have to think about. Now, yeah. It's all very well for me going, you need to have security in your devices, because I can afford to buy devices that have security baked in, and they've been tried and tested and they're secure. But digital poverty, I think, is a risk. Not everyone can afford to buy decent devices, so there's a tendency for then people to buy cheap internet-enabled devices, and security hasn't been thought about, and they've been put together badly and configured badly. And I think, as a society, I think digital poverty is a massive risk in this area, because we're in a global marketplace. In the UK, we've got regulations coming in where internet device providers have to meet basic requirements. So you have to be able to change the default password. You have to be able to update and do security patching of the device. There has to be a point of contact if you've got any sort of problems with it. And that's all great and that's good. But in a global market, anyone can pick a device of some other market around the world and order up a cheap internet-enabled device and install it in their homes. And there's nothing, the regulation will not cover that kind of thing. So I'm really concerned that is a real risk as we're moving forward in this space.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think one thing about it is that also, we cannot just, of course, say no, you cannot have any smart devices. So at some point, everybody will have, smart devices at home. So, and because it is also very convenient, right? So sure. On that end, maybe some takeaway points for our viewers, what they can maybe implement or look into so that they can reduce their own risk.
Okay, good. I think first of all, you have to do what I like to say, do your homework. Go out on the internet and have a look, see what other people are saying about these devices. There's a huge community out there who are giving their time up for free to talk about this kind of area. And will give advice on the types of things you should be looking for. So I think that's the first thing. You go out, try to buy trusted, well-known brands. I'm not saying they're perfect, but you have a better chance of buying something that is meeting the requirements, the regulations that we have. Make sure the device, you can change the password, the default password. It's not got a hard-coded default password. We've seen in the past where cameras have had the same, password installed in them, or the same, vulnerability across every device. So make sure you can change passwords. Make sure that it can be updated. That the company is committing to doing security updates. So should vulnerabilities be found, it can be patched and fixed, because you don't want to be replacing your device every time there's a compromise. Buying a new one. That's no way to live. And so I think that's it. Do your homework. Make sure you can change the default passwords, and make sure that it can be security updated. I think that's the big three things.
Yeah, I think that also gives a very good summary on what can be done on that end. So I really appreciate that. We are running a little bit out of time, so I have one last question for you, and that is, how it is for you to be part of risk community in general, because of course you are more on the security end, but risk is all around in every industry, I think, or every function.
Sure. I mean, it's a great community to be involved with. My job is all about risk. We have a risk-based approach to absolutely everything that we do within the university. And I'm cybersecurity. We have a business of the university, and my job is to articulate that risk and make sure that the business understands the risks and that they're taking. Because you can't eliminate risk, but you have to understand what it is and what you can do to mitigate it, and then make a decision from there. And there's just a fantastic amount of information and people within this community, which has been a huge help to me throughout my career in cybersecurity.
Super nice to hear that also the community has been valuable to you on that end. So yeah, that kind of unfortunately ends up with our time. We are out of time. So I want to thank you once again for joining us today, sharing this important topic. I think that has been overlooked a lot. So yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Yes, have a great day.
You too.